So we are having a very special webinar today because we have a guest. We have Pauline that is connected with us. Pauline is from Lamothe-Abiet. She is technical and sales manager area for Bordeaux, Loire, UK, and USA. So she works with us on all North America. I will also be speaking with you. My name is Eglantine Chauffour, and I'm representing Lamothe-Abiet in North America, working with Booker Vaslin North America. So very quickly, the program of this morning, it's gonna be starting from 2018. We actually choose to start 2018 vintage because that's the year Lamothe-Abiet got introduced in North America and start the partnership with Booker Vaslin North America. So that's pretty much the first year we start to have insights and data, I would say, on the North American wine industry. The idea today is really to focus on some of the challenges we got during these vintages and the solution we managed to find with you, the appropriate solutions, the proper solutions for you and your wines. So we have been focusing a lot on sulfur reduction and using less and less sulfur in winemaking. So this has been something we have been working on since 2018 here in USA, in actually North America, making trials in pretty much every state with every type of grapes, every condition of grapes too, and processes. So we have been very successful, and we wanted to share these results with you. Also, we have been focusing a lot on phenolic management. This is a lot due to, well, the drought, the fires that we got, the heat waves that we got, all these different vintages. And with climate change, this probably will happen again. So it's good that we managed to adapt strategies to manage our phenolic compounds depending the vineyards, the vintage, and the condition of the grapes. The last point we will be chatting about is our new yeast, which is basically a new solution we have to offer to reduce alcohol and increase acidity. So again, to answer the already existing and upcoming challenges of climate change. So this said, I will let Pauline start by introducing you properly Lamothe-Abiet, who we are, what we do, and a little bit of what we focus on. So Pauline, you can
Thank you, Eglantine. Okay, thank you. I share my screen too, just a minute, and I'll be there. Okay. I think we're good.
Yes.
Okay. So hello everybody and good morning. I'm really pleased to be here today with you to introduce you my company and brand, Lamothe-Abiet. Just to introduce myself quickly, I've been working at Lamothe-Abiet for 4 years now as technical and sales rep. And I worked in the laboratory specialized in enology before that. So to begin with a little history of our brand. So you know, Lamothe-Abiet is the first enological company ever created more than 140 years ago now. Our main skills are research and development for biotechnologies and also the manufacture of these solutions and distribution all over the world. The name of the company comes from its founders, Mr. Lamothe, who was a trader from north of France in Rouen, and Mr. Abiet, who was a businessman who owned manufacturers, but also wine estates in the region of Bordeaux. So at the time, there were 2 offices, one in Paris for distribution and the other one in Bordeaux for manufacture. Nowadays, the only head and main office is located in South Bordeaux, but we still have several production workshops dedicated to a specific range all around the city. The picture here is a wood production workshop for chips, staves, sticks, and it's located north of Bordeaux. Just so you know our philosophy and the kind of production we got, most of the products we are manufacturing either come from biotechnologies or are 100% from natural origin, are vegan, or are allowed in organic winemaking. So it's really important for us to follow the wine industry and its evolution during the time. These two examples are one you need to know because Eglantine loves it. It's our bioprotection, the Be Nature. And the other one is a new product we launched 2 years ago now. It's Manosense, so it's manoproteins extracted from leaves. A quick focus on our value here at Lamothe-Abiet. We are a human-sized company. We have just less than 50 people here, but it's allows us to be responsive and focused to please our clients. Our goal is to bring the most effective solution in response to the field. So we benefit from our large distribution network in France, but on all continents. We have a distributor on each continent, at least, and we are present in more than 28 countries. We work with a lot of winemakers, but also with enologists who just sell their advice, and this gives us a good feedback, and we can evolve on the research with this information. So research is really important for our work, and this bond is very important for us. Our presence in the north and in the south hemisphere allows us to try 2 times a year because we can have 2 harvests a year. So as I said, the key to our accomplishment is the involvement in research. We are in a private experimental winery here in Bordeaux with more than 30 tanks. We have a team of 20 persons dedicated to research. Each person is dedicated directly at Lamothe-Abiet for research or in a thesis that we fund, and the research, the theme of this thesis can be useful for our own research. So thanks to this organization, we are invested in many scientific developments in all the modern enology, and in all our products and in our range, we have more than 18 pending patents over the last 15 years. This is another focus on our distribution and how we work with people over the world. So you have a good example here in the USA with a strong bond between us and Boucher-Valin. That is one of the foundation of our sustainability and success. We work with enology lab, but also it's more in France because it's easier because we are closer to work directly with winery and wholesalers, and it allows us to have field trial system and places. Thanks to our large and range of solutions and our reliable organization, we can produce in a circular way because we have these manufacturers. We can, for example, sell some yeast to people to complete the alcoholic fermentation. After that, we take back the lees, and we can filter the lees and extract from them nutrients like yeast totalizates, then can feed the next generation of alcoholic fermentation, or yeast fuels that are used for fining. From yeast, we can also extract the manoproteins that I told you earlier, that they compose the manosense, and they give volume and roundness to wines. Another example of this circular organization is our wood workshop in north of Bordeaux. So we purchase Meran quality wood. It's the same quality than Barrel's manufacturer, and we'll let them dry for 24 months in our park. After that, we can cut them out in different sizes for staves or chips, for example, and we can toast them with different process. We have a lot of different processes. These three are just examples, and they are specific to each technique or to a size of wood. But at the end, the smaller size of wood we have is granular, but under that we can have cutoffs, and these cutoffs can be used by filtration to extract oak tannins, and these oak tannins can enter in our wedge of tannins too. So I think it's really important nowadays and to have this circular way to work and not to waste anything of the high quality products. Another important point in our organization is the quality management. Our products are technological support to your production, and they are sent all over the world. So in 2008, we were the first analytical company to be certified ISO 20000. It's a traceability standard, and we continue to invest in the traceability, in the quality system. And in 2019, we reached the highest standard of food safety, which is FSSC 2000, and it includes the ISO 20000 inside, with a big accent on the food safety, which is our top priority nowadays. Every year, we create a lot of support online in the technical tool sections of our website. You have technical booklets and protocols. You have webinars, but most of them are in French. For webinars, you can maybe ask Eglantine, who's doing a lot of webinar in English. So you're really fully pleased with our work. And if you need, do not hesitate to ask Eglantine or us for any questions. Here in Bordeaux, we have 3 experts specialized in different ranges, and they are more on the fundamental research side, and they are really passionate about that work and really pleased to discuss with any client all over the world. Thank you very much again for your time, and I'm really pleased to be here today, maybe just by screen, but it was nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you very much. This was a great presentation of the company. If you do have any questions for Pauline or me, feel free to write them in the chat or in the Q&A tab, and we will. Now Pauline can see them while I will be presenting, and then we can switch and yeah, answer them after the presentation. So feel free to write anything you want to comment or ask us. No. Okay. So you're seeing my screen? All good. So now that we saw and understand a little bit better who is Lamothe-Abiet, I wanted to tell you more about the problematic, the challenges we saw here in North America since 2018. We saw more than what we're going to talk about today, but this is really 3 highlights that have been our focus, I would say, since the past 4 years. So the first one being the reduction of sulfur. This has been a trendy topic, a topic that interests a lot of people, and so we have been working on it since 2018 with very successful results. The idea here is to manage the full protocol of the wine production, reducing SO2, meaning maybe we have to replace it with something else. So it doesn't mean necessarily we have to be completely minimal in intervention or addition, but what we want to think about is to use more natural approaches, more vegan, allergen-free products if we can, and we can. So I'm not going to talk about the full protocol today, but what I wanted to let you know is you do have full protocols on our website, on the bvnorthamerica.com that you can see here on the screen. And there is a red wine protocol and white and rosé protocol with no sulfur that you will find it on the page that you see here. And also, because today I can't talk about it fully, but I will another time. Please save the date, because the next webinar, we will do a webinar May 17 on reduction of sulfur. Okay, so the big point of this is, so how can we manage to reduce sulfur or replace sulfur with vegan, allergen-free and more natural approach? Our big success was with bioprotection. So Pauline talked a little bit about it. It is my favorite product, I would say. But bioprotection is actually a very natural way to inhibit the unwanted microbes present in the environment, which here would be grapes and must. And so we are basically introducing a positive microbe that doesn't do much, but inhibit the other negative microbes. So working on this, we are working with Mechnikovia pulcherrima. That's the yeast strength we're using. So Excellence B Nature is a yeast, and it's a yeast that is actually selected to not ferment. So it's really here to dominate and inhibit non-Saccharomyces and bacteria, which will allow us to reduce or prevent the production of VA, but also the production of ethyl acetate, and basically cover our must and juice from any off aromas and spontaneous fermentation we don't want. So B Nature is not fermenting, but B Nature doesn't inhibit Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which means if you do have a spontaneous fermentation, it will be Saccharomyces. So you can actually go native by using the B Nature. Strong dominance, so you put it in the juice or in the grapes and it's gonna dominate and do the job. It's producing pulcherrimine or pulcherrimic acid, which is actually a toxin for the non-sac and bacteria. So this will help having the good antimicrobial effect. And there is no off-flavor production. How to use this Excellence B Nature? It's very simple, very easy. You just sprinkle it. So it's a dry powder yeast. You just sprinkle it and you will have a coverage. So you put it directly on the grapes as soon as possible. So as soon as the grapes are picked, the dosage is 50 grams per ton. The second product we have been successful with, and this is actually right now, because this product is for microbial control during aging. So it is a pure ketosane product that is called Kilbret. Ketosane is a polysaccharide derived from Aspergillus niger, so it is vegan, it is allergen-free, it is biodegradable, and it's an wide-spectrum antimicrobial agent. So pretty much it can remove Brettanomyces, but you also have an action against Lactobacillus, Pediococcus, Enococcus, and Acetobacter. So pretty much every spoilage microbe we want to take care of. Since we are working with a pure chitosan, it's a very efficient treatment at low dosage. Very quickly, how chitosan works is basically gonna be, so this polysaccharide is gonna bind with the cell. So you can see the picture, microscopic pictures here, where here we are having Brettanomyces cells, everything is fine. This one, we have Brettanomyces cells, and this is 1 day after we add the chitosan, and you can see already that the cell is not doing so well. The chitosan is binding by charge attraction with the cells and start to block any receptors and interaction of the cells inside out. So the cells can't communicate, the cells can't feed themselves and start to actually have the full metabolism altered and stopped. 4 days after, you can see here the cells start to leak. So the chitosan did this action, damage the cell walls, and the cells start to leak. 8 days after, there is no more cells, it's all dead. So this means basically the chitosan is gonna bind with the cells, alter their metabolism, kill them, and then drop them in the lees. Very efficient treatment, full alternative to sulfur for microbial control. We propose to use it in a preventive way, 2 to 4 grams per hectoliters post-malolactic fermentation, and this is gonna allow you to have your wine protected and covered from any spoilage. Then if you do have spoilage or contamination in a barrel or in a tank that you can isolate, you can treat this lot with in a curative way. So 6 to 8 grams per hectoliters, followed by a racking about 10 days after the time the chitosan does its effect and drop the cells. And then you have, you can add 2 more grams per hectoliters for protection, just to maintain a protection. Okay, so this has been a great alternative to sulfur where we have been very successful with. The last alternative to sulfur I want to introduce you is actually to take care of the oxidation part. So we have specific tannins for red, also for whites and rosé on grapes and must to really act as antioxidant. But then once we arrive to the wine part, we also have tannins, and we have another approach, which is with Aroma Protect. Aroma Protect is a yeast derivative that is rich in glutathione. The fact that it's rich in glutathione improve the resistance of the wine to oxidation. So we basically are giving a lot of glutathione to the wine, and glutathione is a natural antioxidant molecule. It's naturally present on grapes. It's just that usually when we arrive to the wine stage, there is no more. So using Aroma Protect end of fermentation is gonna give a little bit more of glutathione to the wine, which is increasing the natural antioxidant protection and resistance of the wine. And with this, we can elongate the wine shelf life. That's a very natural approach. It's coming from yeast, vegan, allergen-free as well. Just to give you some example, we have a wine here that has been treated with Aroma Protect, and we look at the aromas or the thiolic compounds here 3 months after. So the first 2 lines in the graph are actually the wine before treatment. You can see they are exactly the same. 3 months after, we arrived here where my cursor is. And you can see that the control in 3 months lost most of its thiol, so 100% of the acetate 3MH and 76% of the 3MH, while the Aroma Protect actually lost only 4% of the 3MH, and that's it. So we did protect a lot the aromas, but we protected the wine from oxidation by increasing its natural antioxidant resistance. If we look at 6 months after, that's another trial, another wine. We are looking at how much aromas the wine lost in 6 months. And you can see that the control lost 55 to 75 of its thiolic compounds, while Aroma Protect lost only 20 to 30, which is a more acceptable loss in 6 months of aging. So great alternative to sulfur or complement to sulfur. It can be used with it. It can allow you to actually not lose as much sulfur during aging and not add as much. So This product has been fully used in USA since the last 4 years with big success. So just wanted to share with you our approaches on reduction of sulfur. The next topic is actually to talk about phenolic management. We have been working on this since 2018 with different wineries, different areas, and with different problematics that we faced during these vintages, focusing on extraction and stabilization of these of phenolic compounds. So we have been adapting our strategies with vineyards, with vintage, with wine styles, some not necessarily more like some working with some grapes that are unhealthy, working with some grapes where we really want to limit the extraction but still have a good color and a good stabilization of the color, and working with some grapes that don't have enough phenolic compounds that we have to really protect and save our phenolic compounds. So completely different topic, but I want to show you what has been working the best for us. And doesn't mean you have to use everything at once, and that's not the full complete presentation. But again, I will do a webinar the 23rd of May, sorry, so save the date, and we will talk way more deeply into this topic. So the first, actually, yeah, our second bestseller after the Be Nature is our Enosim Crush Red. So our Enosim Crush Red is our it's a liquid pectinase that has been developed for red wine, for red grapes, to extract color, tannins, polysaccharides from the skins. We, as Pauline explained you, Lamothe-Abiet is very focused on high quality and purifications. So we are using enzymes that are highly purified, especially of cinnamylesterase and anthocyanase activity, and highly concentrated, so we can work at low dosage. The results of using Enosim Crush Red is about extraction. So we are, as you can see in this graph here, this graph is the resulted wine after we use Enosim Crush Red on grapes. And you can see that mostly what happened is that we extracted more of the red color and more of we have a better IPT, which is the green dot here. So we increase the IPT and we increase mostly the red color. So that's very important because we had very good results in color with this enzyme. If we make an average, we really have a big impact on the extraction of the RG2, which are the rhamnogalacturonan polysaccharides that are very important for colloidal stabilization, so color stability, but also tartrate stability, and for mouthfeel. So these polysaccharides that are present in your grape skin are really participating to the roundness and the volume of the wine. With this enzyme, in average, we get plus 60% of rhamnogalacturonan 2. Tannins, plus 15%, better IC, especially on the red color, so plus 11%. We are decreasing the Prag. The Prag are the pectin that we don't want in the wine because it's what we need to decrease to make sure we can clarify and filter our wine. So that's great because it's a pectinase, so we need to reduce the pectin. And one very important point, especially the last vintage with a pretty low yield, we actually managed to increase around 4% the yield of free run. So we are increasing by using the enzyme the yield of quality juice. So that has been very important. So basically we improve color stability, mouthfeel, qualitative volume, and filtration and settling with Enosim Crush Red. We've been using Enosim Crush Red in any type of problematic. So if you do have too much tannins, you want to reduce skin contact time to extract less tannins, but you still want a good color and your positive tannin from the skin, Enosim Crush Red has been working very good. And if we are in a situation that you don't have enough tannins in your variety, Enosim Crush Red has been helping a lot to extract earlier all the tannins you have from your skin and bind them with color. The second product I want to share with you, because we have been very successful with, is our soft tannin vinification. So soft tannin vinification is a very unique tannin that is catechin blend with and bonded with plant polysaccharides. So very specific and unique tannin that is very soft in terms of mouthfeel, but works great on stabilizing the color. So we use it at 100 to 200 grams per ton early to mid fermentation, and the results are more color, more stable over time. You can see the two glasses here. The picture speaks by itself, but the color is very different. Soft tannin V did a great job in fixing the color of our grapes. You can see here regarding the stability, we are looking at the loss of color within 6 months post alcoholic fermentation. You can see the control lost about 39% of its color, while soft tannin V or soft tannin vinification lost only 20. So we did a good job in color stabilization. And as I was telling you, it's also working great on mouthfeel. So here you have a graph of tasting of the wine, compare a control versus the soft tannin V. And you can see that basically with the tannin addition, we improve the aromatic intensity, the complexity of the wine, the structure, the softness as well, the length and the color. So the overall balance and quality of the wine has been improved by using a tannin such as soft tannin V during vinification. This tannin has been particularly great when we are talking about grapes that are or low in tannins naturally, or just like higher yield, so some diluted tannins, but also great tannin for any grape that could have some health situation and needs a little bit of help. That would be the most qualitative tannin you can use to fix color and build mid palate. When then we are talking about grapes that have too much tannins, we still need to work on the color. We need to manage our phenolic compounds without adding any more tannins. We are changing our approach, and we have been very successful with a strategy of not using tannins, but using yeast derivative rich in manoprotein. Nature Soft is a yeast derivative rich in manoprotein that has the ability to bring roundness, bring volume, but also improve color stability and phenolics, help you to manage your phenolic structure way better. There's been a product that worked great with any grapes that has been in contact with smoke to limit the extraction of rough compounds and really work on the back palate and help the roundness and the balance of the wine. We use it during fermentation or during aging, 20 to 40 grams per hectoliter. Some results here, we have been, well, we can see that when we use the Nature Soft, which is the pink curve that you see here, we are increasing a lot the roundness, the sweetness of the wine, while we are reducing astringency and dryness. That's also why we got so successful in very high tannin content wine and with smoke impacted grapes. Also, just want to show you how it actually does stabilize phenolic compounds. Here is the analysis of phenolic compounds we can find in a red wine. Here it's a Merlot. The Nature Soft is in light pink, and you can see that pretty much all the phenolic compounds we have, well, the phenolic compounds that are related to color, we have more when we use Nature Soft, not because we are adding phenolic compounds, but just because we are stabilizing them during fermentation, so we didn't drop as much and we maintain them in the final wine. So that was a very good result, especially regarding color stability. And talking about color stability, here we are looking at the delta NTU. That's a test that we do to understand if the color is stable or not, and if the delta NTU after our test is, after our cold test, sorry, is lower than 10, it means actually 20 can be acceptable. The wine is stable. You can see the control is not stable. NatureSoft is stable. And then we use the competitor product just to compare ourselves. That did improve a lot the stability, but not enough to get fully stable. So NatureSoft has been a very successful approach when we are talking about grapes that don't need any more tannins, but needs help in stabilization. The last topic I want to tell you about is actually a very exciting topic because it is a new product. We have been working since many years now. Actually, I think this product has been in development since 18, so it's completely adapted to today time frame. But we have been working on climate change and how to give a more natural approach to some of the problematic. One of the problematic with climate change is that it's hotter and hotter, drier and drier. We end up with higher alcohol and higher acidity, lower acidity, sorry, higher pH. How can we manage this? Because having higher alcohol and lower acidity is going to impact the balance and the mouthfeel of the wine, but also the stability, colloidal stability, and microbial stability. So it is a real challenge that has actually consequences in the full process of the wine. Nowadays, the only way is to add tartaric acid. Great, we can do this, but that's not maybe the most sustainable solution. And also tartaric acid is getting more and more rare because we have less and less. So we've been working on developing a microbiological solution, which is a yeast that is able to acidify and reduce alcohol. So this yeast, we will present it way more with results and all the story behind it in a webinar in April 21st. So please save the date. It's gonna be available in USA, and we will hopefully make a lot of trials with you. This yeast is called Excellence X Fresh. It's non-Saccharomyces yeast. The strength is Lachenza thermotolerance. It is a yeast that will consume sugar to produce lactic acid. So by doing this, we are reducing the alcohol because we are consuming some of the sugar. We can reduce it by 0.1 to 0.5%. We also decrease the pH as we are producing lactic acid from 0.1 to 0.3 unit. And the lactic acid, we could go way higher, but in the recommendation we have for you in terms of application, we will be between 1 and 3 grams per liter. Per liter. You don't want to be much higher than this because then you will inhibit the malolactic fermentation. Okay. Overall, this yeast improve also the mouthfeel balance by actually managing to reduce the alcohol and produce some lactic acid that is a very round and pleasing acid in terms of mouthfeel, soft acid. The application, how do we use Excellence X Fresh? So the rehydration is going to be very classic, like a standard Saccharomyces with Enostim, which is our rehydration nutrients. Dosage is going to be 20 grams per hectoliter. And then you have two ways. Or we do a co-inoculation with Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Excellence X Fresh can ferment up to 9% alcohol, but if we leave it alone, it's going to produce a lot of lactic acid. So it might be too much. So you do want to inoculate with Saccharomyces cerevisiae to have a yeast that will take over the fermentation and finish it and stop the production of lactic acid. So co-inoculation, you will have a lower impact in terms of decrease of alcohol and decrease of pH. You will still have an impact, and then you can, so which means same day inoculation. If you want a bigger impact with like higher content of lactic acid produced, you can do a sequential inoculation with Saccharomyces cerevisiae, adding the Saccharomyces cerevisiae maximum 2 days after you added the X Fresh. Okay, I don't want to tell you too much right now because we will do a full webinar on this topic. It is a very exciting product coming up. And so I'm happy to take any question you have on any of what I say, but also the Excellence X Fresh. I would like to thank you very much for your attention. Thanks, Pauline, very much for her presentation. You can find all the products we have online. This is the address, bvnorthamerica.com/shop.